Wow, Taylor Swift releases another soulless album, who could have guessed? No, my title is not clickbait or anything, I do not like this album at all, and I'll give my reasons why in this video. But I guess first, I want to discuss the whole like sales phenomenon of this entire thing. Why is this album such a big thing, genuinely? I get that it's Taylor Swift, she's genuinely like the most popular pop star in the world, I understand that, I really do. But if you go on Wikipedia, if you go back to something like her 2022 album, Midnights, it got sales of like 1.5 million first week. Did Taylor really grow so much in the past few years that it just rises this much? Especially with music that is being received way worse? I genuinely don't understand it at all. The Tortured Poets Department released last year, and that was also hated on, albeit not to the same extent as this. That album still had a prominent amount of people who would actually defend it, but I haven't seen anyone other than Taylor Swift diehards, you know, the people that would have her profile pic on their Twitter accounts. Yeah, they're the ones defending this thing. I haven't seen anyone else do it. Well, maybe except for, you know, some of these publications. Dude, Rolling Stone gave Taylor Swift's new album 5 stars. 5 fucking stars. Are you serious? Are you fucking kidding me? Taylor Swift conquers her biggest stage ever on The Life of a Showgirl. If that's actually true, she must be the most boring artist alive. This review praises Taylor Swift for her signature detailed storytelling. If that is signature storytelling, then it makes all of Drake's last albums look like a 10 out of 10. Though then again, I don't know why I'm complaining about this article. Who respects Rolling Stone's opinion still? Such a washed website. I'll talk about the sales thing more in a little bit, but I should get to my actual opinion of the album first. You've heard me say that it sucks over and over, that's not a secret, but I want to go a little bit more in depth than that. For some context, I have not listened to a Taylor Swift album before this. I'm not really super familiar with her discography, and honestly, her previous singles before this, I just weren't that huge of a fan of. I get why she's appealing, don't get me wrong, but her music was not for me. Though I am not a huge pop guy. There are some pop songs that I enjoy, specifically from like the 2010s era, but there's not a lot. Could be that I just have a pretentious music taste, but honestly, I prefer rock and rap a lot more. That's what I mainly listen to. It doesn't mean that I wasn't going to go into this album with an open mind though. I kept hearing the negative reception about it, and that's what made me want to listen to it. And when I say this is the most soulless album I have ever listened to, I mean it. Whenever I was done with it, I could not tell one track from the others. Some of these are so bad, so fucking bad that it's embarrassing. I have a few pages of lyrics on my phone that I want to just read off because I think it's funny. I'll be your father figure. I drink that brown liquor. I can make deals with the devil because my dick's bigger. This love is pure profit. Just step into my office. I dry your tears with my sleeve. Leave it with me. Brilliant storytelling. That's what you're praising, Rolling Stone? Oh, and here's another one. Everybody's so punk on the internet. Everyone's unbothered till they're not. Every joke's just trolling and memes. Sad as it seems, apathy is hot. Everybody's cutthroat in the comments. Every single hot take is cold as ice. When you found me, I said I was busy. That was a lie. This really speaks about our society in a really deep way, doesn't it? These aren't just cherry-picked examples either. Half the album is either like this or some of the most generic written songs I've ever heard. And I didn't even speak about how this album sounds yet. God, could have she picked better production? Half of these songs sound the same, just straight up. It's some of the most boring sounding things I've ever heard in my life. And I was kind of confused because this is the most popular pop star of the modern era. Shouldn't I at least hear some good production on songs? None of these really do it for me. It just sounds so boring. I've listened to the album about twice, once whenever it initially came out, and another time before this video. And I'm sorry if I'm not going super in depth, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I genuinely do not remember a lot about this album after listening to it a second time. I was gonna script this initially, in fact, but I realized that I wasn't gonna have a lot to say. So I just said fuck it, and did this unprompted. I will say that Taylor's vocals on this album aren't necessarily bad. They're nothing that was really notable to me, but there's nothing that's that bad on them either. Nothing that I could really laugh at or anything. They're just kind of average pop vocals, nothing I could really complain about here. And I need to clarify that although I have called this a boring, soulless album in this video, it's not the worst thing I've ever heard. There's way worse out there than this from people that really do not know what they're doing. If I were to list off one album in particular that's way worse than this, it's the Carter 6. God, that was awful. But I can't exactly give this one a pass either. Plus, I just think there's been much more interesting things going on in pop than Taylor Swift. That Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga song, Die With A Smile, is better better than literally anything that's on here. Bruno Mars for the win. I'm done talking about the album quality though. I'd just be repeating myself. I'm gonna revert the discussion back to the sales of the entire thing. How did this do 4 million copies in its first week, especially in the streaming era? It was hard for me to wrap my mind around until I realized that Taylor Swift released 30 variants of this album. I'm not kidding when I say that. She has 30 variants out. The album has been out for 2 weeks. What is she doing? I guess she wanted to break Adele's record so bad that she was this shameless about it. That's insane. What's so unique about these? Different covers? You typically have 3 formats of physical sales, which would be a cassette, a CD, and a vinyl, and all of those are fine to sell. But what are the other 27 variants? This just does not make sense. This is overboard. I guess she counted on her rabidly parasocial fan base to eat this up and go buy it, and yeah, they definitely did. Not enough for the second week though, apparently. I've heard that this album is going to drop its sales by more than 90% second week. That is insane. Like, obviously albums drop in sales the second week, right? Everybody's already heard it and bought their copies the first week. That's just what happens. But for it to happen this much, she literally went from 4 million to like 300,000 the second week. Like, you would expect maybe 1,900,000, 800K, something like that, right? But no, 300,000. That's like 90% less. If anyone could let me know in the comments if that's normal, please do, because that just does not seem right to me at all. But anyways, that's probably gonna be it for this video. Sorry for the unscripted ramble, but I genuinely could not find a better way for me to do this. I really did not feel like writing about this whole thing. Please don't mention in the comments how much I've repeated certain words. That would make me very, very sad. All of my current social medias will be in the description below, along with my commentary channels. And yeah, that's all I have for you. Till next time.